in regards to Lancelot. He had a beautiful complexion, not too white or brown, but a mixture of the two. You might call it light brown. His face glowed with a natural ruddiness, in such just proportion that evidently God had put the white and the brown and the red there, for the white was not spoiled or overshadowed by the brown, nor the brown by the white. Instead, they were tempered by one another, and the ruddiness, which was overlaid in moderation, gave a glow both to itself and to the mixture of the other two colors, so that there was nothing there too white or too brown or too red, just an equal mixture of the three together. His mouth was reasonably small and becoming, his lips red and quite full, and his teeth small and shining white and close together. His chin was well made, with a small dimple, his nose reasonably long, slightly prominent in the middle. His eyes were bright and laughing, and full of joy, as long as he was happy. But when he was truly angry, he looked like a burning coal, and it was as if drops of red blood started from his cheekbones, and in his fury he snorted like a horse, and gnashed his teeth together, so that they grated terribly. And it was as if his breath came red from his mouth, and he spoke so fiercely that it sounded like a trumpet. And he shattered anything he had in his hands or between his teeth. Finally, in his fury, he forgot everything except what had made him angry, as was later apparent in many affairs. His forehead was high and comely, and his eyebrows were brown and well spaced. His hair was fine and so naturally blonde and lustrous when he was a child that no hair could be a better color. But when he was old enough to bear arms, as you will hear it changed from natural blonde to a real chestnut. It was always shining, though quite curly and very attractive. There is no need to ask about his neck. Had it been that of a beautiful woman, it would have been becoming enough, homely and well in proportion with his body and shoulders. Neither too slender nor too thick, nor disproportionately long or short, and his shoulders were reasonably broad and square. His chest, though, was such that you would never find one so big and broad and deep on such a body. In fact, that was the one thing about him that anyone ever found to criticize. And everyone who observed him said that if he had had a little less chest, he would have been more pleasing and attractive. Later on, though, the person who observed him more closely than anyone, that is, the excellent Queen Guinevere, said that God had not given him too much chest, however big or broad or deep it was, for his heart was just as big, proportionately, and it would surely have burst if it had not had a space that size to reside in. And if I were God, she said, I should have made Lancelot just as he is. Such were his shoulders and chest, and his arms were long and straight and well muscled, well endowed with sinew and bone, but moderately spare of flesh. His hands would have been just like a lady's if the fingers were a little smaller. As for his loins and hips, no one could tell you that any knight could have been better. His thighs and calves were straight, and his feet arched, and no one ever stood straighter. And he sang wonderfully well when he wanted to, but that was not often, for no one was ever so little given to rejoicing without good reason. When he had a reason, though, no one could be nearly as merry and jolly as he, and he often said, when he was full of joy, that there was nothing his heart would dare undertake that he could not achieve. Such was his faith in the great joy which made him succeed in many great tasks. And because he said that so confidently, many people held it against him, thinking that he had said it to brag and boast, but he did not. Rather, he said it because he had such great confidence in the source of all his joy. Such were Lancelot's limbs and his appearance. His face, body, and limbs were well made. The qualities of the heart were not forgotten in him, for he was the gentlest and most gracious of children. Children? Children? Wait!